Nobody cares. Work hard and focus on you. Let me tell you something that might sting a little. Nobody cares. Nobody cares about your excuses, your bad days, your almosts, or your potential that's never activated. The world doesn't pause for your problems. It keeps moving, and if you don't move with it, you'll get left behind. But here's the power in that truth. Since nobody cares, you are finally free to stop performing for approval and start building for purpose. The spotlight doesn't come to those who beg for attention. It comes to those who stay disciplined when nobody's watching. This isn't about proving them wrong. It's about proving yourself right. So, if you want success, peace, confidence, and legacy, focus on you, work in silence, grind with obsession, and build the life they'll never believe you earned. The harsh truth: nobody cares, and that's your power. We live in a world where people scroll through your pain like it's background noise, where your losses are forgotten faster than your wins are remembered. It's brutal, but it's real. Nobody cares if you're tired, broken, insecure, or uncertain. They won't ask twice if you're okay, and they're not going to come rescue you when you're drowning in doubt. But here's the flip side. Once you understand that nobody is coming to save you, you stop waiting. And that's when everything changes. That's when you reclaim your power. When you finally accept that the world owes you nothing, you stop begging and start building. You stop hoping someone sees your value, and you start becoming valuable. Because nobody cares if you had a tough childhood, if your friends betrayed you, if life hit you hard last year. The universe doesn't operate on sympathy, it operates on results. The scoreboard doesn't record how you feel, it records what you do. And the moment you internalize this, you become unstoppable. You stop looking for applause and start working in silence. You stop asking for validation and start validating yourself with consistency, effort, discipline, and results. You stop broadcasting your pain and start stacking your wins. The world might not care about your journey, but it will respect your outcome. See, when you're stuck in a mindset of "they don't understand me," you're giving away your power. You're expecting others to fix a fire that only you can put out, or better yet, turn into fuel. The harsh truth is a gift. It removes the emotional weight of being liked, approved, and supported. Because when you're not chasing attention, you start building intention. Nobody cares. Good. Now you can work harder than ever without distraction. Now you can focus on building your body, your mind, your business, your wealth, your peace. And not for applause, but because you owe it to yourself. You've wasted enough time trying to be understood by people who can't even understand themselves. You've shared your dreams with those too small to carry them. It's time to stop explaining and start executing. Every second spent seeking sympathy is a second lost from your legacy. And no, this isn't about becoming cold, it's about becoming clear. You don't need to be bitter, just better. You don't need revenge, you need results. You don't need them to care. You need to care enough about yourself to not stop when it's hard, to not quit when it's lonely, to not fold when it's quiet. Because the grind is silent, but the success echoes. You might be in a dark place now, but nobody cares, so it's time to rise. Nobody's watching, so it's time to lock in. Nobody's coming, so it's time to get up and lead yourself. This is your wake-up call, not from me, from life, because everything you want is on the other side of your comfort zone, and you don't get there with motivation. You get there with consistency. You get there by saying, "I don't need you to believe in me, I believe in me." You rise by deciding, no matter who doubts me, ignores me, underestimates me, or leaves me, I will not break, I will build, and you will, because once you accept that nobody cares, you become dangerous. Dangerous to your old self, dangerous to the distractions, dangerous to the version of you that used to make excuses. You become disciplined, focused, driven, not by external approval, but by internal purpose. You're not waiting to be chosen. You choose yourself. You're not hoping to be rescued. You become your own rescue team. This world doesn't stop for your pain, but it will pause when you win. They won't care about your struggle, but they'll respect your success. So go build something worth noticing, not for them, But for you, work in silence results make the loudest noise in a world obsessed with showing off every small move. There is power in staying quiet and letting your success make all the noise. You don't need to announce your grind, your vision, or your struggle, because those who truly build never have time to broadcast every brick they lay. While everyone else is trying to look successful, you need to become successful. And that doesn't happen in the spotlight. It happens in the dark. It happens at 5 a.m. when you choose discipline over sleep. It happens at night when you're learning, working, sacrificing, while others are scrolling and seeking comfort. The real work is done when nobody is watching. The wins are built when nobody is clapping. You don't need applause to take action. You don't need validation to be valuable. You need consistency, focus, and the humility to grind without needing recognition. Because the truth is, most people don't care what you're trying to do. They care what you actually do. Stop posting plans and start stacking results. Stop explaining your purpose and start executing your mission. The more you talk, the more you leak energy. Real power is conserved, not constantly displayed. The ones who move the world are the ones who work in silence and let the world catch up to the outcome. And yes, it gets lonely. There are days when the silence feels heavy. There are moments when you question if it's worth it. But that's the test. That's silence. That's the forge. That's where warriors are made. Because the loudest voice in your life shouldn't be noise from the outside. It should be the fire burning inside of you, telling you to keep going, to keep pushing, to outwork your excuses and outlast your fears. While others are seeking attention, you build. While others are chasing clout, you chase mastery. You learn the skills, you perfect the craft, you discipline your emotions, your habits, your environment. Because success isn't found in popularity, it's found in the pain you're willing to endure privately. It's built through hours nobody sees and battles nobody understands. They'll call it luck. They'll say it was overnight. They'll pretend they didn't see you suffer, bleed, and rise, because they didn't, and they weren't supposed to. Your story is between you and the work. You don't owe the world your process. You owe yourself the promise you made when you said, "I will not quit until I get there." So stop leaking energy into people who don't believe and start investing that energy into progress that speaks for itself. You don't need to clap back at doubters. Your results will silence them. You don't need to convince the world to see you. Your discipline will force them to respect you. Let your bank account speak. Let your health speak. Let your peace speak. Let your transformation speak. Because once the results show up, everything changes, and not because you proved them wrong, but because you finally proved yourself right. You owe it to the version of you that stayed up late and woke up early. You owe it to the one who kept going through heartbreak, failure, betrayal, and fear. You owe it to the one who could have quit, but didn't. And that version of you didn't grind in silence for nothing, so keep going. Keep your head down, your faith up, and your energy focused, because when the results come, they won't ask where you've been. They'll ask how you did it. And you'll smile knowing that while they were watching each other, you were watching your purpose. While they were trying to be famous, you were working to be free. That's the difference. They post it, you live it. They flex it, you own it. And in the end, you'll stand on a foundation they never saw being built because you didn't need to announce the storm. You just became the force that could walk through it. So work in silence. And when the world finally hears the sound of your success, it'll be too loud to ignore. Focus on you, not the noise, not the crowd, not the past. You will never reach your next level if your eyes are constantly looking sideways. The more you focus on what others are doing, saying, winning, posting, flaunting, the further you drift from your purpose. Focus is a weapon, but only when it's pointed inward. You need to stop getting lost in the noise of the world and start getting obsessed with your own mission. This isn't about ignoring people. It's about choosing to put yourself first without guilt. Because the harsh reality is, every time you worry about how they're judging you, comparing yourself to their progress, envying what they have, or doubting your own gifts because someone else shines differently, you rob yourself of time, energy, and focus. You weren't born to compete with anyone. You were born to complete your own assignment. The world doesn't need a copy. It needs your authentic, refined, upgraded self. But you cannot become that person if you keep looking outward for direction. The more distracted you are by external lives, the more disconnected you become from your internal power. Focusing on you doesn't mean being selfish. It means being strategic. It means understanding that nobody is going to build your dream for you. Nobody's going to do the push-ups, write the pages, run the miles, learn the skills, or fight your demons. That's your job, and it starts when you choose to block out everything that isn't aligned with who you're becoming. Because the crowd will always have opinions, the past will always whisper doubts, the world will always offer a shortcut or a shiny distraction. But the version of you that wins, really wins, is the one who locks in. The one who says, I don't need to keep up with them. I need to grow within me. The one who replaces comparison with commitment. The one who understands that inner peace is more powerful than public praise. That chasing likes doesn't bring purpose, and going viral doesn't mean you're going valuable. Stop chasing validation from people who are just as lost as you were. Stop breaking yourself trying to fit into spaces that were never designed for your greatness. Start taking full ownership of your energy, your time, your progress. You don't have to prove anything to anybody, but you better deliver on what you promised yourself. That's the mission. That's what focus looks like. It looks like waking up early, staying late, showing up even when motivation disappears. It looks like leaving toxic people behind, even if they once felt familiar. It looks like learning to sit with your own thoughts long enough to outgrow the noise. It looks like building your mental fortress so strong that other people's drama, doubt, or jealousy can't even enter. Focusing on you is not a luxury. It's a responsibility. Because the longer you avoid yourself, the longer your future stays on hold. This is your time to tunnel vision your way into transformation. Nobody's watching. Good. Now you can evolve in peace. Nobody's clapping. Great. Now you can grow without pressure. Nobody understands. Perfect. Now you can rise without expectation. Focus is freedom. Focus is power. Focus is how average becomes elite, and you don't get it by accident. You earn it through discipline, so stop watching who's winning on your feed and start winning in your life. Start making choices based on your vision, not your emotions. Start cutting off everything that costs you peace or pulls you off path. You don't need more time. You need less distraction. You don't need more motivation. You need better direction. You don't need them to believe in you. You need to become so focused that belief becomes irrelevant. Because when you truly focus on you, everything else starts to align. The right people show up. The right doors open. The right ideas flow, but none of that happens while your attention is divided. Split focus leads to split results. This is your season to silence the world and amplify your grind. This is your chapter of discipline, of growth, of cutting, of building. You don't need the crowd, you need the commitment. So get tunnel vision on becoming better. Get obsessed with your goals. Fall in love with the work, not the attention, and watch what happens when your life becomes too focused to fail. Discipline over motivation. Master yourself or be mastered. Let's get something straight. Motivation is a feeling, but discipline is a decision. If you wait until you feel like doing the work, you'll be waiting your whole life. Because motivation is fleeting, it comes and goes like the wind. One day you're fired up, the next day you're empty. That's why winners aren't driven by hype. They're driven by habits. You don't need more energy, more inspiration, or more perfect conditions. What you need is to master the voice inside that says, "Not today," and respond with, "Watch me." Mastery begins the moment you stop negotiating with your emotions. Discipline is doing what needs to be done even when you don't want to. It's waking up early when your body wants to sleep. It's hitting the gym when your mind is whispering excuses. It's saying no to distractions when your old self is screaming for comfort. Discipline is brutal. It's lonely, it's repetitive, but it builds a version of you that motivation could never reach. Anybody can act right when they're inspired, but the ones who build legacy are the ones who keep showing up long after the mood is gone. Discipline is choosing your future over your feelings. It's choosing delayed gratification over temporary pleasure. It's choosing the pain of progress over the comfort of procrastination. Most people don't lose because they're not talented. They lose because they can't keep promises to themselves. They start strong but never finish. They dream big but act small, and that gap between intention and action, that's where discipline lives or dies. Because the truth is, your habits will either lift you or limit you. You rise when you stop giving in to weakness disguised as self-care. You rise when you stop letting your environment shape your behavior and start letting your vision shape your decisions. It's not about being perfect, it's about being relentless. You won't always get it right, but you better not quit. You might fall off track, but you better not stay off track. Progress isn't about perfection, it's about persistence. That's discipline. It's doing the thing over and over again until you become the type of person who doesn't break under pressure, doesn't fold under failure, and doesn't run when it gets hard. You don't build confidence by talking. You build it by keeping your word to yourself. Every time you follow through, you strengthen your character. Every time you show up, even when it's hard, you cast a vote for the person you're becoming. That's the real flex, not the car, the clothes, or the status, but the ability to control yourself. Self-control is the highest form of power, because if you can't lead yourself, no dream will save you. You'll have plans but no execution, goals but no grind, potential but no progress, and that's a life of regret. That's a life full of what-ifs and almosts. Discipline kills regret before regret kills you. It takes grit to wake up when it's cold, to grind when it's dark, to train when you're tired, to work when you're uninspired. But that's the price of greatness. That's the cost of becoming unstoppable. You can either suffer now through discipline or suffer forever through disappointment. There is no easy path, but one leads to power, the other leads to pain. The difference between the average and the elite get it done whether they feel like it or not. They don't rely on external fire. They light themselves up every single day with purpose, with vision, with commitment. Discipline is the bridge between where you are and where you're trying to go, and the best part, it's not something you're born with. It's something you build one rep at a time, one choice at a time, one day at a time. You build discipline when you stop making excuses and start making progress, when you stop being interested in change and start being committed to it, when you stop needing a reason and start being the reason. It's not sexy. It's not glamorous, but it's what separates the talkers from the doers. So if you're tired of being stuck, tired of starting over, tired of feeling weak, it's time to train your discipline like your life depends on it, because it does. Your dream life is on the other side of your discipline, and every excuse you keep making is just another brick in the wall between you and that life. So tear it down, not with hype, not with inspiration, but with daily, consistent, ruthless execution, because motivation might get you started, but discipline is what gets it done. Build in the dark, your future demands sacrifice. Today's success doesn't begin with applause. It begins in silence, in the early mornings when no one's awake, in the late nights when everyone else is winding down, in the quiet moments where nobody is checking on you, nobody's validating you, and no one is clapping. That's where greatness is born, in the dark, when you choose to grind without recognition, when you make sacrifices nobody sees, when you do the work even when it feels like it's not paying off. That's when the foundation of your future is being laid. Everyone wants the results, but few are willing to pay the price. Everybody wants the success story, but nobody wants the solitude, the setbacks, the suffering that builds strength behind closed doors. But here's the truth. If you can't handle being invisible, you're not ready to shine. If you need a crowd to stay committed, your dream isn't strong enough yet. You've got to fall in love with the process when the results are still far away. You've got to believe in the vision when there's no proof, only pressure. You've got to stay loyal to your goals when no one's watching, when no one's texting keep going, when nobody even knows what you're fighting for. Because the world only rewards what it can see, but the work that changes your life happens where nobody is looking. You have to become your own accountability, your own encouragement, your own motivation. That means skipping parties, saying no to easy pleasures, disconnecting from distractions, and choosing isolation over comfort. That means losing people who were never meant to go where you're headed. That means being misunderstood, underestimated, overlooked, and still not quitting, because the version of you that's coming can't be built in comfort. It's carved out through pain, discipline, and relentless patience. This is the season where you don't get to complain, you just construct. This is the part where you get real quiet, real focused, and real serious about your next level. You build in the dark so when the light finally hits you, you're not surprised. You're ready. Every sacrifice, every lonely night, every missed event, every early morning, every ignored distraction. That's the price of the future you say you want, and no, it's not easy, it's brutal. You'll question yourself. You'll want to quit. You'll wonder if it's worth it. And that's when most people fold. That's when they tell themselves, maybe it wasn't meant for me. Or maybe I should just be happy with what I have. But that's not you. You're not here to settle. You're not here to fit in. You're here to evolve. You're here to build something unshakable, something unbreakable, something that doesn't depend on likes, followers, or praise. You're here to build you, and to do that, you've got to endure the season of silence, because what you do in the dark shows up in the light. You may not see the results today, but trust me, they're stacking. Every small decision, every hour of focus, every rejection you overcame, every sacrifice you honored, it's all compounding into something powerful. The world might not see it yet, but soon they will. And when they do, they'll call it sudden, overnight, lucky. But you will know the truth. You'll remember the nights you almost quit. You'll remember the times you cried but still showed up. You'll remember the pain, the pressure, the isolation. And you'll smile because you earned every ounce of it. This is what separates the dreamers from the doers. Anyone can want it, talk about it, fantasize about it. But only a few are willing to disappear for a while and reappear unrecognizable, not because they wished for it, but because they worked for it. That's what building in the dark is all about. It's about becoming dangerous in silence. It's about outworking the noise. It's about transforming behind the scenes so that when the curtain finally rises, you don't just show up, you own the stage. So if you're in that silent season right now, keep going. If you're tired, broke, grinding, doubting, sweating, hurting, keep going. This is not the time to shrink. This is the time to sharpen. Let everyone sleep on you. Let them ignore you. Let them count you out. That just means you've got time to build uninterrupted. No noise, no expectations. Just you, your purpose, and your grind, because the future belongs to those who prepare in private. Build in the dark, and let your results light up the world.